Hello and welcome to a special edition of WCAT Chats where we're going to be talking the college men's basketball bracket. I'm Wilson Noell. We have a new guest, Robert Suh, with us today and former podcast host Carson Medor. We're going to be going through the entire bracket. Follow along. If you have any disagreements or different opinions, drop your thoughts in the comments section below. We're going to start here in the East section. First game, Duke, Siena, 116. I think that one's pretty straightforward.
I think I got Duke.
Yeah, okay.
We can do traces on Duke there.
Next one, first kind of tough matchup, 8-9, Ohio State, TCU. I like Ohio State in this one, though.
I've got TCU, actually. I think Ohio State's got a really good guard play, but I think TCU is going to pull this one out.
Also, I agree with you on that TCU pick for a little separate reason. TCU play in the Big 12, super strong conference. They've got a lot of experience under their belt so far, so I do think they know what it takes to beat good teams here.
So we got TCU.
Yeah, I suppose they can take down Bruce Thorne and the Buckeyes. Yawn.
All right, next, moving on to the 5-12 game between St. John's and Northern Iowa. We've got Rick Pitino.
Yeah, I think I've got St. John's in this one. St. John's, I mean, they haven't been – I thought they were not that good at the beginning of the season. They had a bunch of pretty bad losses. They do have that big Zuby Ejiofor. I don't know how to pronounce it. He's pretty legit though, and I mean it's Northern Iowa. They've got over
I think I'm agreeing with you. St. John's with that. Northern Iowa just a 12 seed from a small conference, not looking to do much.
Yeah, I have heard some people saying Northern Iowa might upset them though, but I think Rick Pitino's too good of a coach.
They've had their Cinderella.
Pitino's great in March.
So we got St. John, and then moving on to the 4-13 game between Kansas and California Baptist. I think this one's pretty easy. I've got Kansas. I think Darren Peterson's too good.
Yeah, another Big 12, Big 10 team. They're really good. And they've played a super tough schedule and still managed to be a 4 seed. They've got a ton of talent. Trey White, Darren Peterson, if he plays. Yeah, I think that one's
Yeah, even with that Darren Peterson, the question about his availability, I don't see California Baptist being a problem even if he is on limited minutes and doesn't play as much as Kansas fans would like to see him play.
All right, moving on to the next, the 6-11 game, Louisville, South Florida. And I think this is the first really good upset opportunity. I think we should take South Florida. Louisville's star freshman, Mikael Brown Jr., freshly out with a back injury for the first 2 rounds of March Madness in South Florida. You always got to pick an 11-6 upset, and I think this is the one.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think South Florida with that just coming out of the conference play, they have one of their assistant coaches was the head coach of FDU when they pulled off that massive upset.
Yeah.
So I think they've got a little bit of that magic on their side, and also with the Mikael Brown injury, I see them moving on.
Yeah, I like that one.
So with South Florida, they're not. I might be wrong, but they're not a super high volume 3-point shooting team, right?
I believe that's true. Yeah.
But I think Louisville. I just don't know if I trust Louisville to win, and I think this is my upset that I have for the East part of the bracket as well, and I just think there's something about South Florida that's like in my gut, it's calling my name.
Yeah. Louisville looked good at the beginning of the year, but not so much recently.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, another walk in the park, basically. Michigan State, North Dakota State, 3-14. I think we got the Spartans in this one.
Right. No, I do. Do you matter?
Yeah, a lot of convincing year for Michigan State. We'll see how deep of a run Tom Izzo can make this year with his track record of 1 national championship in his long tenure at Michigan State, but I definitely do see them at least advancing through to the round of 32.
Right. And then coming up to another interesting game, we've got 7-seed UCLA versus the 10-seed UCF. I really like UCLA here. I think if Donovan Dent plays, I think he's really good. He's a game changer for UCLA.
Yeah, I agree with that. The Donovan Dent guard play recently has been, I think it's just going to be too much for the Knights, and UCLA is going to move on.
Yeah, I actually disagree as well. I'm picking with the Big 12 again here. UCF, they've put up I will say that this will be a great matchup, the 7-10. It'll be, I think, closer than a lot of people think. I think people do think towards y'all's line of thought, but I do think UCF, with the experience they've had this year in the Big 12, while they haven't really put up a good fight against teams, I do see them sticking around at least for the first half against UCLA and potentially being in a position to win.
And yeah, Donovan Dent was so good with New Mexico last year, though. I mean, he willed that team to a win.
Yeah.
So I've got
sure. We can go UCLA on that one.
And then next we've got UConn Furman 2 versus 15. I think this one's a pretty easy one for us as well. We've got UConn.
Yeah, I just don't see Furman doing anything. They did upset Virginia a couple of years ago, and it broke my heart. But I don't think they'll be able to do it again.
All right, and we're going to move over to the west part of the bracket and start off with Arizona, the 1 seed, versus Long Island University, the 16.
Yeah, Long Island, I mean, they were the first team to clinch a berth, but I don't think that really means anything, especially going up against Arizona. I think they're definitely going to go
I mean, they're going to be missing out on their fan base. No fins up in wherever they're playing.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Yeah, they're on California, I believe, for that game, and Arizona travels very well. And with Arizona's big freshman class this year, I don't see them having any problem with Long Island.
Arizona's just looked kind of unbeatable at points this year, so I don't see a way Long Island stays in this game for very long.
Yeah, for this next one, the 8-9 matchup, Villanova, Utah State. I don't know a ton about this one. I went with Villanova because they're historically a better basketball school. They had some nice games earlier on in the year. But yeah, I don't have a ton of reasoning if y'all have something you want to say.
I mean, I agree with you on that one. Villanova, I just chose them as well. Very strong team this year, looking third in the Big East, only finishing behind St. John's and UConn.
Yeah.
Started off their regular season losing by 5 to Villanova or to BYU. And so I'm seeing them as a team that can compete and will compete with some big teams in this tournament.
I mean, I don't know much about either of these teams, but I'm not a big fan of Villanova winning, so I chose Utah State, but I don't really know anything about these two, so we're going to go with Villanova. And then moving on to the 5-12 matchup, pretty exciting one for us. I think Wisconsin, the 5 seed, is going to beat High Point 12, but people love picking the 5-12 upsets, but I just can't see this one being one of them.
I definitely took High Point in this one. I saw an Instagram reel with that guy, Chase Johnston. He only attempted 4 2-pointers the entire season. He's shooting like 40% from 3. I think he's going to be the next Jack Golke from Oakland last year. I think he's going to hit a bunch of threes and take down Wisconsin in the first round.
He shot half the volume of Golke, though.
Yeah,
it's not comfortable. They're not comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, me and Robert did a 10-day High Point game earlier this year when they played UNC Asheville, and I was just very impressed with the pace of play they're at. They're averaging this year about 90 points a game, 5th in the nation, so they can really score the ball. And I think if they get it flowing on their night, there's no chance Wisconsin can keep up with them on the offensive side.
No, I think Wisconsin's too good, but I guess since y'all want High Point, we're going to go High Point.
High volume offense.
And then move on to one of the most exciting teams in college basketball, 4 seed Arkansas versus 13 seed Hawaii. I don't see a way Hawaii wins this game, especially with the recent play of Darius Acuff. Yeah, I think he's too good.
Arkansas in peak form right now. Darius Acuff averaged 30 points a game in the SEC tournament, and he just looked amazing. He looked probably like top 3 draft pick. I don't know if he'll go above the others just because of their resumes before, but I think he's the most talented guard in college basketball right now. He can go for 30 on any night. He's definitely going to take down Hawaii.
Yeah, for sure. I don't see Hawaii did not have a very convincing regular season in their conference, so I don't see Arkansas and Darius Acuff Jr. having any problem with them.
Then for this next one, the 6-11 BYU Texas. I have BYU in this one. BYU, they did their entire strategy this year. They essentially had 3 players who scored all of their points. It was Rob Wright, AJ DeBansa, and Richie Saunders. Richie Saunders did tear his ACL a few weeks ago, so now they're down to only AJ DeBansa and Rob Wright. But I still think they're a super high volume offensive team. They've competed, like Carson's been saying all day, the Big 12 teams, they're just really good this year. They've competed super well with the top teams in the country, and I think they've got this one in the bag.
See, I disagree. I like Texas here. I know they won last night. Coming off of a game is good for the body. I think, as we learned this season in basketball, I think DeBansa is good, but he can be very inconsistent at times. And then especially missing Richie Saunders, that's a big miss for BYU. So I think I have Texas here.
I'm going to agree with you, Robert, on this one. Texas experienced head coach Sean Miller. He's been around the game for a long time, worked at some very high prominent programs such as Arizona. And so I think with his experience combined with a strong conference in the SEC and a very hurt BYU team, I don't see them having a problem with BYU at all.
All right, moving on to the 3-14 matchup, Gonzaga, versus the Georgia local team, Kennesaw State. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be the Zags in this one.
Yeah, I really like Gonzaga this year, so I think I've got them going pretty far, actually.
All right.
Yeah, Mark Few's teams are always very strong, and I don't see Kennesaw State pulling off this big upset at all.
All right.
Moving on to the next, the 7 Miami against the 10 Missouri. I had Miami. This one might have been a little bit of ACC bias. They've played against UVA and UNC pretty well this year. They've got a couple guys, Malik Renaud, Trey Donaldson, who can go for 20, 25 any night, but I do think Missouri could take him down.
I think I'm pretty biased towards the SEC teams. I think that schedule, no matter who you are, is going to be really hard. I mean, football too, but that's another conversation. But I think Missouri plays a really hard schedule. I think they're better than Miami. I have Missouri upsetting the 7 seed in Miami.
I agree with you on this one, Robert. Missouri is just strong conference in the SEC. Played some big out-of-conference teams as well. Like they did play Kansas earlier this season. Despite a big loss, I do think they are battle-tested enough where they will take down a Miami team.
And the 2:15 game, Purdue versus Queens. I think Purdue's always really good. I think sometimes they can be a little inconsistent when we get to March, but I think they're going to take this game pretty easily.
Yeah, I agree with you.
All right, so next we're going to move down.
Yeah, I think we
Stay up
back to the East. Yeah, we're going to go back to the East at the top, pick the round of 32 games. The top one, it's going to be the 1 Duke against the 9 TCU. I'd still think it's going to be Duke. That team's really good.
Yeah, Duke. I mean, you look at KenPom, they're far and away the best team in the country. Here, we'll pull up some stats up here. Duke on the top is 4th in offensive rating and 2nd in defensive rating. And I mean, they've just looked better than everyone this year. Cam Boozer is a ridiculous player. He's the best player in the country, I think, for me, by far.
Yeah, I also think having that weapon of Isaiah Evans on the outside, just waiting to knock down 5 threes in any game. Cam Boozer has gotten really good at passing throughout the year. So especially for like North Carolina, they were doubling him a lot in the corners. He was managing to just zip those overhead passes cross court to an open Isaiah Evans on the wing and he hits like 45% of his threes or whatever. So they're definitely going to take down TCU.
And even on Cam Boozer's off nights, for example, the ACC championship game wasn't his day. His brother steps up, fills in a huge role, and they're able to take down Virginia in a thriller.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Duke pretty handily here.
Yeah. Moving on to the next, the 5 St. John's against the 4 Kansas. I think that I had St. John. No, I have Kansas in this one.
Really?
St. John's, they're a good team. I watched them throughout the season a little bit, and they're just really inconsistent. When they have like slightly off days, it's really bad, and I just think they're not that good. Kansas, even without Darren Peterson, they went, 10-2? They were really good. They actually performed better without him, so even with him, I think they're going to be too good for St. John's.
But, I mean, I feel like if you're talking inconsistency, you look at Kansas as that team, especially recently with their play, they've gone pretty downhill. And, I mean, I think I've got St. John. I think if Darren Peterson has a good night, it's Kansas, but I think it's St. John winning here.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Sue. So I have St. John's winning despite my large Big 12 bias. Just I don't see Darren Peterson being able to sustain that level of play. I think with the way he's been on and off with his availability all year, I see him either being tired or being on a limits restriction for this round of 32. So I don't see St. John's having any problem getting
Think he's
through.
given himself that minutes restriction, or it is draft?
I feel like there could be a little bit of a Bill Self little tension there growing with how he's been treating the regular season so far.
All right, moving on to the next, the 11 South Florida against the 3 Michigan State. I think Michigan State's got this one led by, third team All-American, second team All-American, Jeremy Fears Jr. at the point guard. He's a very good passer, scores 16 a night, maybe a little cheap at some points, got a little bit of a Grayson Allen tripping problem, but he's still pretty good on the court. They've got a few solid bigs. Cohen Carr, always an explosive dunker. I think it's going to be the Spartans.
Yeah, I think there's just something about being a Spartan that makes you a little dirty. Like with his alumnus, Draymond Green, there's some questionable stuff going on in the water up there. But I think I've got Michigan State handling South Florida pretty easily here.
Yeah, I agree with you. Michigan State's a strong team this year. I don't think South Florida continues their Cinderella at all.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, there's some debate. Some people think UCLA can take down UConn. I've got UConn winning just because of Dan Hurley's resume in March. He's historically really good, even with teams that may not seem as good. I haven't watched a ton of them this year, but the 2 seeds enough for me. I have the Wolves.
Yeah, I really like Georgia transfer Silas DeMary. I think he's really good. He's a good player. He does the little things. I think Dan Hurley's a great coach. He can get a little too feisty at points, but I think he's a great coach, and you saw it with his back-to-back a couple of years ago.
I mean, and you have Alex Caravan, who's been on a national championship team for them before, coming in, bringing that inside presence at 6'8", 230. So, I mean, any given night, he can go for at least 20 points a game, and he is the game changer for them. So, I think UConn has no problem beating UCLA this year.
All right, so we're going to go back to the West and cover the round of 32. And we've got the 1 seed versus the 8 seed, Arizona versus Villanova. And I think Arizona is still, again, the 1 seeds this year are just really good.
Yeah, Arizona is a really tough team to beat. I don't see anybody beating them in March, so they're definitely not going to get beaten by Villanova.
Yeah, the combination of guard play and forward play for Arizona it's just going to be too much for Villanova. I think they don't have any struggles with Villanova at all.
I mean, we know you're going to pick Arizona no matter what, though.
Well, yeah, I will be picking Arizona no matter what. But this year it is very justified. Braden Burry is co-Pete, just to name a few of their stars this year. And so I don't see them having any problem.
All right, and next, 12 seed, High Point beats Wisconsin for us, and they will match up against Arkansas. 4 seed, I think Arkansas, like we've said before, is just, they're really good. They're really exciting to watch. I think they win here.
Yeah, Arkansas takes this easily.
Yeah, I think they're too strong of a team to lose to High Point.
And next, we've got the 11 seed Texas versus Gonzaga, the 3. I really like Gonzaga still. I think they're going to be a really good team this year. I've got Gonzaga.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. It's up to you. I had BYU beating Gonzaga here, but they're already gone. And so I'll take the Zags.
Yeah, I was same boat as Wilson with BYU going all the way, but I do think Gonzaga does have Texas easily.
You picked Texas too.
Right, on the next one, it's Missouri against Purdue. I think Purdue's got this one led by point guard Braden Smith. He's just got some great IQ, great passer, just plays the game the right way. I think he's going to take him down.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get a little crazy here. I'm going to go Missouri. I think Purdue, they're just, once they get past that first round, they kind of just lose their minds. Yeah. It's this round or next round against Gonzaga. I just don't see them winning.
I do think Purdue is a strong enough team where, despite their very large woes in March Madness, I see them at least moving past Missouri into the Sweet 16 this year.
Yeah. All right.
And with that, we're going to move back to the East, to the Sweet 16 with Duke versus St. John's.
I'm going to let you go ahead.
All right. So, well, I think Duke, they've just looked unbeatable at points here. And I know they kind of hit that roadblock in Elite Eight Final Four where they just can't really advance. But I don't see that happening here against St. John, even with Ngongba maybe being out for...
And Foster.
Yeah. Foster's going to be out indefinitely, but we don't know when Ngongba's going to be back. So, I mean, I've still got Duke here.
Yeah, I've got Duke in this one, despite all of my previous thoughts against Duke, how bad I want them to lose. I think they're going to win this round.
Yeah, I think I'll agree with y'all on that one. Duke is just such a strong team this year. As Sue was saying, the 1 seeds are almost unbeatable, it looks like. So I don't see them having any problems moving on to at least the Elite Eight, maybe the Final Four. Well, we will see.
On the next one, the 3, Michigan State against the 2, UConn. I have the Spartans winning in this one. They're pretty battle-tested as well. They've played some really good teams. I think their bigs are going to be too much for UConn. Jackson Kohler, Jeremy Fears, Cohen Carr. I think they're going to be able to take them down.
I think Michigan State is just so good defensively. I think UConn has lost some pretty close matchups recently, right?
Yeah.
And then, so I just see Tom Izzo with all that experience, both two very good coaches, but I still see Michigan State advancing here.
I do see Michigan State advancing. I do think Dan Hurley, just the way he's been coaching this year, a little bit of his outburst, I do think that could come into play at some point. And I could see in a high 3-2 matchup like this, his high intensity boiling over into a technical foul that could really swing the game. So I also have Michigan State going in this game, but it will be a close one.
All right, and then back to the West, we've got Arizona, Arkansas, probably one of the matchups I'm most looking forward to. If it is to happen, I'm really excited for this one. I don't know, but like Medor and I have said, the 1 seeds just look so good this year, and Arizona has looked completely unbeatable at some points.
I agree with you, but I think the recent form of Arkansas has been so good. They've got Darius Acuff, as we were talking about, but they also have Malik Thomas, who can go for 20, DJ Wagner, who's a great role player, Trevor Brazile in the paint, who can be a rim protector, and I've got the Razorbacks in this one.
I'm going to have to definitely disagree with you on that one. Not even because of my Arizona bias, but I just do think that the talent of Arizona with the guard play and the forwards, you have Braden Burries, Jaden Bradley, Anthony Delorso, Ivan Karchenkov, just these guys who are really a lot of freshmen, but Ivan Karchenkov has pro experience in Germany.
Yeah.
And then you've got just so much more talent and depth than I think the Arkansas team is able to put on the table. So I do think Arizona is going to move through on this one pretty convincingly.
I mean, there is something to say about John Calipari guards. I mean, other than DJ Wagner, but we don't need to talk about him. He just develops them so well. But I don't think they have the forward and big depth that Arizona do. So I got Arizona.
All right. Moving on to the next one, Gonzaga versus Purdue. I've definitely got Purdue in this one. They looked really good against Michigan in the Big Ten championship. I think, once again, Braden Smith just looked really good. I think he leads this team professionally. He's got Fletcher Lawyer out on the wing to shoot threes, score some points in addition to him. I think it's going to be the Boilermakers.
I said this already, but I don't think Purdue's got that clutch factor to make it past the Sweet 16. I've got Gonzaga.
Yeah, well, this one actually was a very hard one for me because you're looking at Purdue, a team that, as you mentioned, terrible track record recently in the tournament. But you've got Gonzaga, who hasn't really been the convincing Gonzaga you've been looking at this year. That early 40-point loss to Michigan really, for me at least, taints their track record a little bit. And so I did take Purdue on this one just because I do think Purdue is the stronger of these two teams.
Mm. All right, and we're going to get into the Elite Eight on the top end of the bracket here with Duke versus Michigan State. And I think Duke kind of just hits that wall when you get towards the end of March, that Elite Eight round. I think I've got Michigan State here.
I love that pick. I have Michigan State also. I think Duke is just going to fold. You saw it against UNC. They stink in the second half. If you go on runs, you can beat them. You have to have a good somebody to lead you. Jeremy Fears can do that. He can bring the momentum shift that Michigan State needs to beat Duke. Duke is best at home. No home court advantage here. It's all even. I think the Spartans take it.
Wow, I know I'm outvoted here already, but I just would want to say I think Duke is a very different team than they have been in years past. They're very strong. So I actually did have Duke advancing to the Final Four, but I know my co-hosts will disagree with that, so we can have Michigan State going through.
No, this one was pretty hard for me, but I feel like Michigan State has kind of that edge, and I really like how Cohen Carr plays. He's really fun to watch, and those dunks are crazy. You get that momentum going.
Yeah, 50-inch vert. That's incredible.
I don't know if it's 50, but
it's something like that. On to the next one. It's Arizona against Purdue. I've got the Wildcats in this one. They're, as we've been saying, Big 12 competition, 1 seeds, blah, blah, blah. I think they're going to beat Purdue.
I've got Arizona as well.
Yeah, this is, I mean, you can guess this pick from a mile away. It's Arizona all the way. Go to the Final Four for the first time, I think, in 20 years. And so I don't see Arizona having any problems this year moving to the Final Four and the national championship.
And, interesting fact about Arizona, they were the last team west of Texas to win a national championship. So I think that's something to look for this year. I think that definitely influenced my picks this year.
All right, moving on to the South region of the bracket. Got that Final Four in.
So we've got interesting matchup here. Florida versus Prairie View or Lehigh. I think speaks for itself. 116 is going to be Florida.
The one, but let's also talk about this. The Prairie View A&M and Lehigh matchup is tonight. It's actually this afternoon, I believe, at about 5:15. Who do you think is going to pull out this game to draw Florida in the first round?
I have no idea, but I'm going to pick Lehigh because CJ McCollum went there, I believe.
He did.
He had a 15 seed win when he was in college. I don't know. Maybe they've got another one.
I mean, I like Lehigh's name more. Prairie View, that's boring. You pick Lehigh.
Well, I think we can consensus Lehigh on that one, but in the main, it's going to be Florida.
All that to lose by 40 to Florida.
On the next one, it's the 8 seed Clemson against the 9 seed Iowa. Clemson, I was talking with Sue about it, lost one of their best bigs in the ACC tournament to a torn ACL. He's out for all of March Madness. And also, Iowa, I think, is severely underrated. They're a really good team. Bennett Sturts is a very, very good player, and I think they're going to be too much for the Tigers.
Forget where Bennett Sturts was last year, but he was so good. Drake? Yeah, I mean, he's really good. I think Clemson kind of got given drew a bad straw with their bigs getting hurt.
Yeah.
Unfortunate injury there, but I've got Iowa here.
Well, I originally had Clemson. Just think put together a strong campaign in the ACC this year.
They didn't, but you know.
I mean, fourth in the ACC is pretty good.
Pull it up.
Solid conference.
Yeah.
Clemson, a lot of losses on here.
It is better than
But
dang, that's a really good UNC team that they beat.
all right, and next we've got Vandy versus a fan favorite, McNeese. Last year, Amir
Aura Khan.
And
this actually back.
Amir Khan.
I saw that. He is back this year with a fresh NIL deal after some disputes with the school.
After he transferred to NC State.
Followed the coach, yeah.
I'm not sure what he's getting paid for, and he's pretty cool. But it doesn't really matter because Vanderbilt's a lot better than McNeese, and I think it's going to be the Commodores in the next one.
I think Chandler Bing is probably my favorite player on Vandy.
Just bring some electricity with the guard presence at the rim, especially. So I think Vanderbilt is a lot better than a 5 seed this year. I was expecting a 4 seed out of them, so I do think they are going to easily handle McNeese.
This next one, it's Nebraska against Troy. I don't know a ton about Troy or Nebraska. I don't know anybody that's a Nebraska fan or watches Nebraska basketball, but apparently they're pretty good this year. They started off, 29-0, 28? It wasn't that much. It was like 25 or 26.
It was a lot.
But they were undefeated for a really long time. Obviously, a pretty good team, enough to at least get one win.
And, yeah, I've got Nebraska. I don't know Troy, but
Not thinking Troy is too dangerous this year for Cinderella.
I feel like you see a 4 seed versus a 13, you pick the 4.
Yeah.
See what happens.
On the next one, it's UNC versus VCU.
6-11 matchup.
This is a big upset.
I love the Tar Heels, and so I'm obviously going to pick the Tar Heels.
So
I really don't have any confidence anymore because we've looked really bad recently. Henry Vasar is basically our entire offense. Freshman Derek Dixon has been showing out recently. He's been hitting a bunch of threes, but I still think we're going to win. But
Still got the 6 seed advancing here. I've got UNC. I think Vasar, Arizona transfer. I know you know him, mate.
it is an Arizona transfer. It's
But
very good.
I know. I think someone Wilson didn't mention is Seth Trimble. I really like Seth Trimble. He's been at UNC for a while. He's improved so much over the years. I've got UNC.
yeah, he's really good around the rim. He gets so low to the ground. He's a great guard. UNC's enough.
Well, I know you two are UNC fans, but so this is going to upset you a little bit. I had VCU. Without Caleb Wilson, UNC is not a convincing team to me at all. He's an electric player out of Atlanta, just from down the road at Holy Innocents. But UNC without him has looked really bad. That NC State game a few weeks ago was kind of the straw that broke my opinion on that. So
No, but we didn't have Vasar for that game.
No, I had. This was one of my ones that I was really debating. I just couldn't pick VCU. I had too many upsets on my bracket already.
Yeah, VCU. Why? On the next one, the 3 Illinois against the 14 seed, the Penn Quakers. I've got Illinois in this one. They've got a really good offense, but if I were to pick a really high seed upset, it would definitely be this one. Penn is led by TJ Power, who's actually a Virginia transfer. He was at Duke before, so he's obviously a pretty high recruit. Just went for 40 in the Ivy League championship. So he's obviously legit. I don't know about Illinois. They've got
Keen Wagler, Kyle Cheese Wells, a lot of good guard play. You know, something I saw on Instagram today actually is TJ Powers scored more in that one game than he did his whole career at Virginia.
wow.
That was really funny. I've got Illinois. Keaton Wagler is one of the most exciting players in basketball right now. I think they're going to pull it out pretty easily here.
I don't see Penn's Ivy League prowess and the minds over there being able to take down Illinois side. Have Illinois advancing.
All right, on the next one, it's St. Mary's against Texas A&M. I had Texas A&M in this one. St. Mary's is a historic March Madness team. I feel like they always show up, always try and make a little noise, but really they haven't done much. They beat Gonzaga, but Gonzaga's, I don't know. Texas A&M has played a really tough schedule in the SEC. I think they're much more battle-tested than St. Mary's, and I think they're going to take this one.
All right, yeah, I think Texas A&M shouldn't have been a 10 seed. I think they got overrated a little bit, and I think St. Mary's is going to pull it out here.
Yeah, I also did have St. Mary's, despite some not very convincing losses at all to Gonzaga, and they played Vanderbilt at the start of the season. I still do see them there, as you were saying, their experience, they're always in March Madness out of the West Coast Conference. I see them advancing pretty easily.
All right, and next you got 2 seed Houston versus 15 seed Idaho. I think it speaks for itself here. It's Houston. They just look really good this year. And we're going to move over to the Midwest with Michigan, the 1 seed, versus Howard, who won last night against, who was it?
UMBC.
Yeah. But I think Howard handled them pretty handily in the second half. But unlucky draw, you get Michigan, you get a 1 seed. It's Michigan. Yaxel Lindeborg he's a star.
Yeah, I really don't like him, but Michigan is really good.
Yeah, there's no way a 16 seed's taking down Michigan. Maybe if it was UMBC, I would think back to that.
Who are UMBC? I might have just picked them.
Yeah,
you guys, but
no, they do have that magic behind them. But tough 86-83 loss last night for them.
For the next one, it's St. Louis against Georgia. I have St. Louis in this one. I think Robbie Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Avila is enough. I think he's going to take down this high-powered Georgia offense.
Yes, 2 very similar teams, actually. You get so here on this screen, you got St. Louis versus Georgia over in the bottom right. They're 2 very similar teams if you're looking at pace and net rating, which is offensive efficiency subtracted by defensive efficiency. And they're just 2 very similar teams. And I've got St. Louis here pulling out against Georgia. And I think some people at Westminster aren't going to like that choice, but it's the truth. I think a lot of people don't have faith in Georgia and Jeremiah Wilkinson.
St. Louis has been strong. Yeah, I agree with y'all on that pick.
Next one, 5 Texas Tech against the 12 Akron. Akron is a pretty good team. If I were going to pick another 5-12 upset, it would probably be this one. But Texas Tech, they've played some really good teams, had some really good wins. They beat Houston, they beat BYU, they beat Duke, they beat Arizona, they beat Iowa State. But you have to keep in mind that a lot of those wins were with their star player, JT Toppin, who towards ACL, he was a first-team All-American. They're starting big, and he's not going to be here for March Madness, but they still do have an Atlanta native, Christian Anderson, leading their team, and I think it's going to be Texas Tech in this one.
My problem with Texas, I have Akron here. I think Christian Anderson being injured, he injured his groin on that glass floor at the Big 12 tournament. That's awful. I mean, they switched back to hardwood for a reason, but Texas Tech with 2 of their best players, one of them being hindered, the other being out, I think that's just too much for them to overcome. I think Akron here.
I'm going to have to go with Wilson on this one. I think Texas Tech still is a strong team with Christian Anderson. I do see JT Toppin obviously being out is a huge problem for them, but I don't think it's a big enough problem for them to be losing to Akron and being upset in the first round. So I see Texas Tech going through, no problem.
And then Alabama versus Hofstra, the 4 versus 13. These are 2 very kind of polar opposite teams. Bama is the fastest paced offense in the country, and Hofstra is, I think, the slowest paced in the country. So it's a big trap game. And, we have to mention how Aiden Holloway is no longer with Alabama. And that's a very interesting topic that we're
17 points a game that Alabama's losing there with the incident that occurred earlier this week.
I still think they're good enough to beat Hofstra, but it'll come up in the next round.
Yeah, I've got Bama here.
I've got Bama as well.
Baron Philon's good.
He's really
very good.
And next we've got Tennessee versus the winner of Miami, Ohio versus SMU. And Miami, Ohio had a kind of a legendary regular season, which was kind of ruined by that one loss that they had in their conference tournament.
The first round. They lost in the first round of the MAC tournament. So obviously they're not that good. But I do think they've got a little magic. I have SMU winning the play-in, but no matter the play-in winner, I still think that this 11 seed is going to take down Tennessee.
Really?
Wow.
Or you think that's
you're confident either team is beating Tennessee?
I'm confident that it definitely, if it's SMU, the SMU Mustangs are a very good team. They can score 100 points on any given night. They've got a bunch of small, really quick guards who hit a bunch of threes. And Tennessee just has not proven themselves to me. Nate Amon's fine. Jacoby Gillespie's fine, but I don't think they're enough.
Nate Ament had a rough start to this season, but he's really good. He's kind of turned it on a little bit. But Tennessee, as I said before, has played the SEC schedule. I think they're too good for whoever wins this 11 seed game.
I could really only see this 11 seed upset happening with SMU. I think Miami, Ohio are just a team of frauds. No offense to them, but playing in the MAC and squeaking out
Countless wins.
squeaking out basically every win for the last 10 games and then losing in the first round is just not convincing at all. So I only see this upset happening with SMU, but I think Tennessee's too strong, so got them going through.
And next we've got 3 seed Virginia versus Wright State. And Virginia lost a couple big games in the last couple of years. I've got Virginia here handling Wright State.
Yeah. Next round, Kentucky, Santa Clara. This is a big upset game for a lot of people. I've still got the Wildcats moving on, but I mean, there's some discussion.
I've got Santa Clara. No Jaden Quaintance for Kentucky. That's a big loss. He's one of the best bigs in the SEC and in the country. I've got Santa Clara upsetting the 7 seed Kentucky here.
I'm going with you on this one, too. I have Santa Clara going as well. I don't think Kentucky's had a very strong season so far, so I have Santa Clara upset here.
And Iowa State, easy matchup. 2 is going to move on.
Yeah, Tennessee State. Zeke Harp goes there.
Yes.
Westminster alumni. But we've got Iowa State here handling them pretty easily. And we're going to go back to the South with Florida versus Iowa. And I've got Florida here. Like we said before, the 1 seeds are just really good this year. I've got Florida.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Iowa's a pretty good team, but Florida's really good as well.
Florida's winning this easy.
Next one, a little bit more discussion, 4 versus 5. I've got the Commodores in this one. They're a really good 5 seed. As we were talking about before, I've got them moving on.
Yeah, I've got Vandy. I like Chandler Bing. I like his name. We played him last year. He's really good. I've got Vandy.
Yeah, Vandy easy.
And next, you've got UNC versus Illinois. I think that Illinois offense is too high-powered for UNC to stop, especially without Caleb Wilson. So I've got Illinois.
I think that UNC offense is too much for Illinois, but that's an unpopular opinion.
Are you kidding?
Oh, so with no Caleb Wilson, there's no chance that happening.
You lose so much rim protection. You lose 20 points a game.
Yeah,
no, not a chance.
Illinois is wiping the floor with UNC in this game.
Yeah. I mean, come on. I like UNC, but they're not good without Caleb Wilson.
Next one, 7-2, same area as Houston. I've got the Cougars in this one. They're not as good defensively this year, but they make up for it with their offense. Kingston Flemings, they're really good.
And, you know, there's a lot of people that don't trust Houston this year. I talked to Caleb Patterson earlier today. He doesn't like Houston at all. He doesn't think Kingston Flemings is all that, but I think he is. I think Houston wins here.
Yeah, Houston easy.
And we're going to move over to the Midwest. Michigan, St. Louis. Michigan, too good for St. Louis. I think beats them pretty easily.
Convincingly.
Yeah, that's good.
And Texas Tech, Alabama, 2 teams that have lost a few players. I think I have Alabama here. I think their pace is too much to match up against.
Yeah, I think JT Toppin is more of a loss than Aiden Holloway. I've still got the Crimson Tide.
Well, I had Texas Tech, but I'm outvoted on this one, so we can move the Crimson Tide forward.
Next one, UVA, Tennessee. I've got the Who's moving on for sure. I know I'm going to have some competition from that, but they're a really good team. A lot of people are hating on them, but they're better than you think.
Y'all 2 are just fans, so you're going to pick your own teams.
I might be a little bit of fan, but it's definitely really
I actually did. I am on Wilson's side here. I picked Virginia, so we'll move them through.
We'll move Virginia up. And Iowa State, Santa Clara. Iowa State's really good. I don't know how to say it.
Milan Momcilovic.
He's really good. He shoots an insane percentage of threes on a super high efficiency. He's really good.
It kind of looks like me as well.
So
Bird, dude.
talk about that.
Okay, Florida Vandy SEC matchup here. I've got Florida. Florida's just looked so good as of late, and Xavier Lee and Boogie Flan have really stepped it up recently, especially compared to the start of the year. So I got Florida.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that 13-point loss recently, 13, 91-78, I believe. Florida, and it was Florida Vanderbilt in the semis of the ICC tournament. I think Vandy's got them figured out. Tyler Tanner, Jalen Washington, and UNC transfer.
Gonna light out fire on.
I think it's going to be the Honors.
So I also have Vanderbilt here. So we
Really?
flip that pick around.
Flip that back, really?
Yeah, Vanderbilt's been strong to end the season. I see them keeping up that momentum and having no problem beating Florida and moving on to the Elite Eight.
I disagree because I think that loss lights a fire under Florida. I mean, we saw how good they were last year, but I guess that you guys have got Vandy. And moving on to the 3 versus 2, I've got Illinois over Houston here. I really like Keaton Wagler. I know y'all are making faces, but I like Illinois here.
I have Houston winning this one.
Yeah.
I like Houston a lot.
I like Houston a lot as well. Sue, we're just going to get Sue here.
I mean, yeah, y'all are just picking all the high seeds. High seeds. I've got, Michigan, Bama. I've got Michigan. Michigan looks so good this year, especially with Yaxel. He's really good.
Yeah, I think they look good till the next round.
Yeah, Michigan's good. Okay.
And I think I know where Wilson's going to go with Virginia versus Iowa State, but I'm going to go Iowa State here. I think their 3-point offense is really good, really hard to beat.
I actually do have Iowa State in this one. I would love for Virginia to win, but I think that's a little bit too much of a stretch.
Yeah, a little bit of a stretch there. So we'll put Iowa State through.
And we're going to move back up.
You didn't.
Oh, wait, no.
We've got to pick the Elite Eight.
We got one more. It's Vanderbilt, Houston over here in the South. I don't have either of these teams, but if I had to pick one, I'd go Houston.
Yeah, I've got Houston too. Vanderbilt's good, but they're not that good.
Yeah, so this is basically my exact bracket is shaping up this reason. So I did have Houston here as well. Me and Wilson just outvoted you on every single one.
All right, for the next one, the 1, Michigan against the 2, Iowa State. I've got Iowa State in this one. Michigan has showed some weakness. I think Iowa State's going to be too much.
Yeah, I've got Iowa State.
I think Wilson and I have the same bottom bracket because I have Michigan, Iowa State in this one as well. And I have Iowa State winning.
Different on anything?
No.
All right, so we're going to move here to the Final 4. We've got Michigan State versus Houston. I think I know where y'all are going with this one.
I've got Houston in this one.
So, I actually originally had Duke making it down here. So
This week.
I would have to go Houston just because I think they're a stronger team than Michigan State.
You know what? I'm going to keep our trend going here. I think Michigan State's defense will be too much for Houston. I've got Michigan State, but we're going to put Houston through, I guess. And then for the other side of the bracket, Final 4, Arizona, Iowa State. I'm going to side with Carson here. I'm going to go Arizona. They've just looked so good. I think they're going to break that curse of the teams west of Texas. I think they're going to win it all this year.
Yeah, I've got Arizona as well, so you can push them through the championship. And then I think we're all on the same page. I think it's going to be the Wildcats winning it all this year.
National championship. Yeah. Wildcats are just such a strong campaign this year. Beat Houston in the Fertitta Center this year. So they have that experience beating Houston home and away. I don't see them having any problems with Houston for a third time.
Guys, to wrap it up, you guys want to throw a point prediction?
I'm thinking Arizona scores in the low 80s and Houston somewhere in the 70s.
Really?
So.
I usually do 150, but I mean,
That's a lot. I feel like last year it was like 125.
That is true,
low
but
scoring.
with the Final Four, you have to think they're in a stadium, that depth perception past the backboard.
yeah,
Typically a bad shooting night for both teams.
but
I was going to go.
be realistic, it's probably not going to come down to this.
Yeah.
So it doesn't actually
Yeah,
matter.
I mean, it's not going to, but I was going to go like 68, 65 like last year.
Yeah.
I got Arizona. I think they just look really good. Coapete's really good. Braden Burry's electric on offense as well.
Yeah, I like that.
All right. To wrap it up for today, championship game, Houston, Arizona, the Wildcats coming out on top. Carson Medor's favorite team. Maybe he did that on purpose. Maybe he messed with our minds, but they're definitely a good team this year. They've got some really good freshmen, also led by senior Jaden Bradley, who had a game winner. That's going to be it for today. I'm Wilson Noell.
I'm Robert Suh.
I'm Carson Medor.
And thank you for watching. First game tomorrow at 12:15. Make sure to tune in.
All right. Practice.